Hello again. This video is for Pre-Algebra Chapter 5, Lesson 8, Solving Equations by Multiplying Fractions. You guys should be very familiar with this concept. It involves a lot of things you're familiar with, and I'm going to go quickly because if you're in honors, this is the second video you've watched today. Alright, so multiply both sides of an equation by a fraction to undo multiplication. In short, this is multiplying by a reciprocal, and this is why it works. If we start out with the equation 5 times a equals 1/7. We need to get a by itself because we're still solving for a letter. So to do that, we're going to divide by 5 on both sides. The 5's cancel out by the a, leaving me just a equals 1/7 over 5. Well, 1/7 over 5 is the same as 1/7 divided by 5, because what does this fraction bar mean? Well, it means division. So I can do 1/7 divided by 5, and that means 1/7 over 5. Well, how do I divide fractions? I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 5 is 1/5. Now, I have some fractions, and I can just multiply the tops and the bottom. So a equals 1 times 1, which is 1. 7 times 5 is 35. A equals 1 over 35. Or there is a slightly faster way to do it that does not involve this scary thing right there, which is still 5 times a equals 1/7, to multiply by the reciprocal. Multiply by the reciprocal on both sides. So reciprocal of 5 is 1/5. So if I multiply 5 times 1/5, it's going to cancel out. But what I do on one side of the equal sign, I have to do on the other. So again, 1/5 times 5 over 1a equals 1/7 times 1/5. The 1/5 and the 5 over 1 are going to cancel out, leaving you just 1. Well, anything times 1 is itself, so a times 1 is just a. So a equals 1/7 times 1/5, which is 1/35. All right, so remember that multiplying a number and its reciprocal equals 1. Alrighty. Alright, so next problem. We have 4/5 m equals 9/10. So we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of 4/5, which is 5/4. We're going to do it on both sides of the equal sign, and that's going to cancel out, giving you just 1m, or just m. 9/10 times 5/4. We can simplify before we multiply. So 5 goes into itself once, goes into 10 twice. M equals 9/8. But that's not simplified. You need to, or at least you can, put it into a mixed number. The only thing is that later on in Algebra 1, leaving this as 9/8 is completely legitimate. It's fine, and even I will accept that now. But if you're so inclined, you want to put it into mixed number, there you go. All right, 8 goes into 9 one time with 1 left over. 1/8 is left over. Okay, so, and again, the improper fraction completely acceptable. Okay, so now we have -10/13. B equals -2/3. Multiply by the reciprocal. Now the reciprocal doesn't mean that the negative drops. The reciprocal of -10/13 is -13 over 10. Don't get rid of the fraction just because, or excuse me, don't get rid of the start over. Don't get rid of the negative just because you're taking the reciprocal. The negative sticks with the fraction, even if the fraction is now the reciprocal. All right? So that cancels out, leaving me b. And then I have -2/3 times -13 over 10. And I kind of wrote it out because all of the things on top get multiplied by everything on the bottom. The only thing is that I just multiplied by a negative, and I didn't actually factor that in. So a negative times a negative is a positive. There we go. So I made a mistake, but you know what? I just caught it. Okay, so -2 times -13 over 3 times 10. The only thing is you can simplify a little before you multiply. 2 goes into itself once, 2 goes into 10 5 times. -1 times -13 is positive 13. 3 times 5 is 15. So that gives you b is equal to 13 over 15. And again, you can always plug it back in and check your work, where you'd get -10/13 times 13 over 15 equals -2/3. Okay? All right, next problem. Number 4. We have 3 1/2 n equals 28. you need to put this into an improper fraction before multiplying by the reciprocal. So that would be 7 over 2n equals 28 over 1, multiplied by the reciprocal on both sides to get n by itself. Simplify before you multiply. 28, now there's a lot going on here. So I can break 28 down into 4 times 7 times 2, because remember we're multiplying the top by the bottom. But I wanted to break the 28 down so that I can easily show you that the 7s cancel out. So if I cancel out the 7s, I'm going to end up with 4 times 2 over 1. Well, that's just 8. And again, you can always throw your answer back in to check your work. Okay, next problem, we have -2 3/4 times h equals -12 1/2. We need to write improper fractions for both of these mixed numbers, which is -11 1/8 h equals -25 over 2, multiplied by the reciprocal, and there we go. We end up with -25 times 2 times -4, and that's because 2 times -4 is -8. That's where that came from, and I'm just doing this so that you can see the 2's cancel out, and then you get -25 times -4, which is positive 100 over 11. 11 goes into 100 9 times with 1 left over, because 9 times 11 is 99, which is 1 away from 100. So there you have 9 and 1/11. All right, last problem is a word problem. Your teacher, me, needs a shelf to hold a set of textbooks. Each textbook are 1 5/8 inch wide. How many books will fit on a 26-inch shelf? Well, we're going to take the width of each book and we're going to multiply it by the number of books, and it needs to equal the length of the shelf. So the width of the book is 1 5/8 inches. We don't know how many books fit on the shelf, but we know that the shelf is 26 inches. So that leads us to the equation. 1 5/8 times n being the number of books, equals 26. Improper fraction, multiply by the reciprocal, simplify, and you get your answer. So exactly 16 books will fit on the shelf. Okay, you can check my math. Hopefully I did it right. Have a good rest of your day. I'm recording this on a Friday, so have a good weekend. Bye.